the beginning of a royal journey. On a warm summer evening in 1982, the soft golden light of the setting sun touched the calm waters of Lake Mälaren. Its waves shimmered gently against the walls of Drottningholm Palace, the official home of Sweden's royal family. Inside the palace, bells rang with joy. It was the sound of celebration echoing across Stockholm, as the country welcomed its newest royal member, a little girl who would one day capture the world's attention in ways no one expected. Her name was Princess Madeleine. She was born into royalty, but her destiny would turn out to be very different from the one written for her at birth. From the very first day, life for Princess Madeleine was wrapped in tradition, ceremony, and expectation. Her parents, King Carl XVI Gustaf and Queen Silvia, were symbols of the modern Swedish monarchy, respected, elegant, and deeply aware of the responsibilities that came with the crown. Princess Madeleine's childhood, however, wasn't just about royal duties or etiquette lessons. Behind the golden gates and grand walls, she was simply a curious, happy child who loved horses, art, and nature. She had two older siblings, Crown Princess Victoria, the future queen, and Prince Carl Philip. While Victoria's path was clearly set from the beginning as the next in line to the throne, Madeleine's future was open, uncertain, and full of possibilities. Unlike her sister, who would one day become queen, Princess Madeleine's role was never clearly defined. And that gave her something few royals ever get, a chance to explore who she really was. She spent her early years living in the royal palaces around Stockholm, surrounded by tradition, but her parents made sure she had as normal a childhood as possible. She attended local schools instead of private royal academies, beginning preschool in 1985 at Varstal Parish and continuing her studies at Smedslatsskolan in Bromma. Even though the media often tried to capture moments of her life, her teachers and classmates described her as down-to-earth, friendly, and full of energy. Madeleine grew up in an age when European royalty was changing. The world was becoming more modern, and royal families were learning to balance their history with the expectations of the public. In Sweden, where equality and humility are highly valued, the royal family worked hard to show that they were just like ordinary people, despite their titles. And Princess Madeleine represented that idea perfectly. She was royal, but also relatable. She loved fashion, travel, and spending time with her friends. As she got older, her natural charm and beauty caught public attention, and the media began calling her Sweden's most glamorous royal. Magazines around Europe featured her at charity events and royal gatherings. But behind the sparkle and designer dresses was a young woman still trying to find her purpose. After finishing high school at Enskilda Gymnasiet in 2001, she continued her education, studying subjects like law, child psychology, and computer literacy. She wanted to use her education to make a difference, not just as a princess, but as a person. Her search for meaning took her beyond Sweden's borders. In 2003, she enrolled at Stockholm University, but the turning point in her life came 3 years later, in 2006, when she traveled to New York City to work as an intern at UNICEF headquarters. For the first time, she lived outside Sweden, in a city full of life and energy. At UNICEF, she worked in the division that focused on protecting children, especially those living in orphanages, in conflict zones, or suffering from exploitation and abuse. That experience opened her eyes. It was no longer just about royal duties or ceremonies. It was about people, real lives, real struggles, and the importance of compassion. Working with UNICEF gave Princess Madeleine something she had been missing: purpose. It also connected her deeply with her mother's charity, the World Childhood Foundation, which Queen Silvia founded in 1999. The foundation's goal was to protect children from abuse and give them safer, happier lives. Over the years, Madeleine became one of its most active members, representing it at international conferences and events. She wasn't just lending her name, she was fully involved, attending meetings, reading reports, and visiting projects in different countries. Her ability to speak several languages, Swedish, English, and German fluently, with some French, made her an ideal global representative for Sweden. She could communicate comfortably wherever she went. People who met her during charity work often described her as kind, pathetic, and genuine. For the public, Princess Madeleine seemed to have everything: beauty, privilege, and purpose. But her personal life would soon bring challenges that tested her in unexpected ways. In 2009, when she was 27, the royal court announced her engagement to Swedish lawyer Jonas Bergström. The media quickly labeled it the perfect royal romance, the beautiful princess and her handsome fiancé. Sweden was ready for another royal wedding. The ceremony was planned for 2010, and excitement filled the air. But behind the palace walls, things were not as perfect as they seemed. As the months passed, rumors began to circulate that the relationship was in trouble. By April 2010, the engagement was officially called off. The reason, as later reported by the press, was Jonas Bergström's alleged affair with a Norwegian model. It was a shocking moment for the royal family, and a deeply painful one for Princess Madeleine. For a young woman whose every move was followed by the media, the heartbreak was public and humiliating. But instead of allowing the scandal to define her, Princess Madeleine did something brave. She left Sweden. She boarded a flight to New York City, seeking peace and privacy, far from the eyes of the European tabloids. It was a turning point, the beginning of a new chapter in her life. In New York, Madeleine found what she had been missing: independence. She focused on her work with the World Childhood Foundation, spent time with friends, and rediscovered who she was beyond the title of princess. It was in this city, known for giving people second chances, that she would also find love again. Love, family, and freedom. While living in New York, Princess Madeleine met Christopher O'Neill, a British-American businessman. They were introduced by mutual friends in 2010, and their connection was instant. Unlike her previous relationship, this one developed quietly, away from headlines and royal photographers. For the first time, Madeleine was allowed to fall in love without public pressure. Christopher wasn't a royal, and he wasn't seeking fame. He was confident, intelligent, and independent, qualities that matched her desire for a more private, normal life. By 2012, the royal court announced their engagement, and in June 2013, the couple married in a beautiful ceremony at the Royal Palace Chapel in Stockholm. It was a joyous day for Sweden, elegant, heartfelt, and filled with love. The princess wore a stunning gown designed by Valentino, and her happiness was clear to everyone watching. Unlike many royal unions, this marriage came with a unique decision. Christopher O'Neill chose not to take Swedish citizenship or accept a royal title. This allowed him to continue his business career without restrictions, and it gave the couple freedom to live life on their own terms. For Madeleine, this was a relief, a chance to blend royal duty with personal independence. Over the years, their love grew stronger. Together they had 3 children: Princess Leonor, born in 2014, Prince Nicholas, born in 2015, and Princess Adrienne, born in 2018. The young family became symbols of a modern, international monarchy. They spent several years living in New York and later moved to Florida, where they lived a more private and relaxed lifestyle. Although they were far from Sweden, Princess Madeleine continued her royal responsibilities whenever needed. She regularly represented the World Childhood Foundation, attended charity galas, and spoke about child protection. Many admired her ability to balance motherhood, charity work, and her royal background, all while living away from the palace. But as always, royal life brings challenges. In 2019, King Carl XVI Gustaf made a surprising announcement that would change the structure of the royal family. 5 of his grandchildren, including Madeleine's 3 children, would no longer be official members of the royal house. They would still be called Princess and Prince, but they would not have the title Royal Highness, and would no longer perform royal duties in the future. This decision, part of a trend among European monarchies to simplify royal families, was meant to focus attention and resources on the direct line of succession, Crown Princess Victoria and her children. While some saw it as unfair to Madeleine's children, she publicly supported it. On Instagram, she wrote, "This change has been planned for a long time. Chris and I think it's good that our children are now getting a greater opportunity to shape their own lives as private individuals." In truth, it was a smart move. Her children would grow up with more privacy, free from the pressure that comes with being a working royal. Princess Madeleine understood better than anyone how difficult it could be to live under constant scrutiny. In 2024, after several years abroad, the family returned to Sweden. They settled in central Stockholm, close to the royal stables. The move was delayed multiple times, originally planned for 2023, but life and logistics pushed it to the following year. Their return was seen as both symbolic and emotional, a princess coming home after more than a decade of living overseas. For her children, it was a big adjustment. They had grown up in the United States, speaking English as their first language and attending American schools. Moving to Sweden meant adapting to new surroundings, learning Swedish more deeply, and reconnecting with royal traditions. Yet for Princess Madeleine, it was an opportunity, a chance to reconnect her children with their roots while maintaining the freedom she had fought for. Then, in 2025, another unexpected event placed her in the spotlight once again. She announced the launch of Minlan, her own natural skincare line developed in collaboration with a Swiss company called Ouida. The brand focused on organic and sustainable beauty products, a project close to her heart. But as soon as the announcement went public, criticism followed. Some people felt that royals should not engage in commercial activities, arguing that it blurred the line between public service and private business. The royal court quickly responded, stating that Princess Madeleine would not use her royal title to promote the products. Instead, she would use her personal name, Madeleine Bernadotte. Even so, public debate continued. Some compared her to Meghan Markle, who faced similar reactions after launching a lifestyle brand. But Madeleine remained calm and confident. In an interview with German news outlet RTL, she said, "I understand the concerns people have. But a few years ago, there was a decision to focus more on my sister, the Crown Princess. That gave me and my brother more room to explore other things." Her statement reflected her balanced and realistic approach. She wasn't abandoning her royal role, she was evolving it. She continued to fulfill official duties when needed, even serving as regent ad interim in 2024 while the King and Crown Princess Victoria were traveling abroad. Yet she also wanted to live as a modern woman, free to pursue creative and meaningful ventures. Princess Madeleine's life is often seen as a reflection of how monarchies must adapt to the times. She bridges two worlds, the royal and the ordinary, with elegance and understanding. To her, being a princess isn't about staying trapped in the past, it's about using her influence to create a positive impact in the present. A modern royal and her legacy. Today, Princess Madeleine continues to embody what it means to be a modern royal in the 21st century. Her focus remains on family, philanthropy, and personal growth. Through the World Childhood Foundation, she plays an active role in campaigns that protect children from abuse and exploitation. She often visits child advocacy centers, meeting with families and survivors, and supporting programs that provide safety and hope to those in need. In 2019, she published a children's book called Stella och Hemligheten, or Stella and the Secret, in English. The book teaches children about courage, boundaries, and the importance of speaking up when something doesn't feel right. All profits from the book go to the World Childhood Foundation. It's another example of how she uses her voice and platform for meaningful causes. In addition to her charity work, Princess Madeleine is also the patron of Minute Stora Dag, Sweden's version of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, which grants wishes to children with serious illnesses. Her involvement in these causes shows that her compassion isn't just symbolic, it's personal and consistent. As she's grown older, her public image has matured too. Once seen mainly as a glamorous princess in high fashion, she is now respected as a working mother and humanitarian. At 42, she manages to balance royal traditions with modern realities. She doesn't attend as many royal events as her sister, but when she does, she carries herself with quiet confidence and grace. Her story raises important questions that go beyond Sweden. Across Europe, monarchies are changing. Countries like Denmark, Spain, and the Netherlands are also slimming down their royal families. The goal is to make the institution more efficient and relatable to the public. But this change brings challenges for spare royals, those born into royalty but far from the throne. What should they do with their lives? How do they balance royal duty with personal freedom? Princess Madeleine's life offers one possible answer. She's shown that it's possible to respect tradition while still living authentically. She has accepted that she's not in the direct line to rule, but she hasn't disappeared. Instead, she's found her own way to serve, through compassion, creativity, and independence. Still, not everyone agrees with her choices. Some critics argue that her business ventures risk damaging the royal image, while others believe she's the perfect example of a modern royal adapting to the world's realities. This ongoing debate shows how much interest her life continues to attract. People see a bit of themselves in her story, the desire to be free, to follow one's heart, and to find purpose beyond expectations. Princess Madeleine's journey also reflects a deeper theme, the idea that even within strict traditions, one can still choose freedom. She could have lived a life entirely defined by royal rules, but she didn't. She made mistakes, faced heartbreak, and started over, just like anyone else. Her story proves that being royal doesn't mean being perfect. It means learning, growing, and finding balance between who you are and what the world expects you to be. In interviews, she often speaks warmly about her parents and siblings, showing strong family bonds despite their different paths. She supports Crown Princess Victoria's future as Queen and has said that she's proud to contribute to the family's work in her own way. Her relationship with Christopher O'Neill continues to inspire many. Together, they've built a life focused on love, privacy, and raising their children in a grounded way. Their children, Leonore, Nicholas, and Adrienne, are growing up with a blend of cultures, languages, and values. They are learning that even though they come from royalty, they can choose their own futures. In the bigger picture, Princess Madeleine's story tells us something important about change. The world no longer sees monarchy as untouchable or distant. People expect royals to be real, to have emotions, opinions, and individuality. Madeleine represents that evolution. She's not just a princess who attends galas and royal dinners. She's a woman who cares deeply about making a difference, while also enjoying the freedom to live as she chooses. Her life reminds us that tradition and modernity don't have to clash. They can coexist, and when they do, they create a new kind of strength. She's still deeply connected to Sweden's royal heritage, but she also lives by her own values, family, empathy, and integrity. As history continues to unfold, Princess Madeleine's legacy may not be one of power or politics, but of personal courage. She's shown that true royalty isn't measured by titles or crowns, but by character, by how one uses privilege to do good. Whether people remember her as Sweden's most glamorous royal, or as the Princess of Compassion, her story will always stand out as an example of balance between tradition and freedom. Princess Madeleine has become a symbol of modern royalty, graceful, independent, and real. Her journey from the palace halls of Stockholm to the sunny streets of Florida, and then back home again, captures something timeless, the universal desire to find one's place in the world. She was born into a golden world of expectation, but she chose to live as a woman of her own making. And in doing so, she has redefined what it means to be royal in today's world, not by the crown she wears, but by the choices she makes and the life she lives.